Hello everyone, welcome to my first video. In this video we're going to see how we can install ASDF. So ASDF, it's a version manager. You can use it to manage multiple tools or runtimes such as Erlang, Elixir, Ruby, Node.js and others. But in this video we're just going to focus on Erlang and Elixir. So I'm already on the ASDF version manager page. You can go to asdf-vm.com and you're going to end up here. So I'm going to click on get started. Alright, so the ASDF installation involves the following steps. First, we install some dependencies, which is curl and git. Then we download ASDF, we install it, and then we download and install a plugin for each tool or runtime we wish to manage. In this case, we're going to install a plugin for Erlang and Elixir. And then we install a version of the tool or runtime we wish to manage. So we're going to install Erlang and Elixir. Erlang version 25 and Elixir version 1.14. And then once we do that, now the last step is to set globally the versions of the tools or runtimes we just installed so that we could use them on our system. Okay, so let's get started with the first step, which is installing some dependencies. So we need to install curl and git, and we need to use the appropriate commands according to the Linux distribution we are using. So I am using Linux Mint, which is based on Ubuntu, and it has a up-to package manager. So the appropriate command is this one. So I'm going to copy that, open my terminal, and bring that back. There you go. Just expand it a bit, paste my commands. Okay, run this as super user. Well, as you can see, nothing was installed because I already have curl and git on my system. Great. Let's go to the next step. And the next step is to, let me scroll down, is to download ASDF. So there's an official download method which downloads from git, and then it downloads it into the .asdf directory on the home directory of my system. Then there are other methods as well, such as using homebrew or pacman, but I'm going to go with the official download method. So I'm going to copy that command, go back to my terminal, paste the command I copied, enter. So it's cloning, it's downloading ASDF into my home directory. Okay, great, no errors, seems everything is working fine. So I can check the ASDF directory with the ls command. So you can see we have it there. You can check the contents of the directory. It should be ls, not this. Okay, there it is. So these are the contents in the .asdf directory, which was just downloaded. Let me clear that. Alright, great. Let's go back to here. Now the third step is to install ASDF. However, there are different combinations of shells and operating systems. So here you see a list of shells and their appropriate configurations we need to use. So if you're using bash, you need to copy this line here and add it to your .bashrc file. If you're using other shells like fish, you also need to copy this and add this to your shell configuration file. However, on my system, I am using the ZSH shell, not bash. So I'm going to scroll down. Here, I'm going to click here, and then I need to copy this command and I need to add it to the ZSH-rc file, which is a configuration file for my shell. So with that copied, let's go back to my terminal. I'm gonna use nvim to edit the ZSH-rc file. Okay, So as you can see, there already exists some configurations. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to paste the ASDF configuration here. So I'll paste it there just after we load our ZSH plugin. Then we're going to load our ASDF shell scripts here. So I'll paste it there. You can put it at the bottom of the file if you want, or anywhere, that's fine. So I'm going to save my file and quit. Alright, so now we can't use ASDF because we need to reload our configuration file. Just do that, and then the path to the file ZSH RC. Okay, right, so now if I type ASDF, there it is. So since we didn't specify any command, it brings up a default help page per se with some commands that we can run and so forth. Yeah, so let me clear that. So we have successfully installed ASDF. Let's go back to this page, and then the next step is to, let's keep going down, it's to install a plugin. Yeah, so in this case we want to install the Erlang and Elixir runtimes, so we need to install plugins for those. Okay, so to install our ASDF plugins, which is the Erlang and Elixir plugins, I'm going to go on the sidebar here, go on the plugin section, and then I'm going to click on the Erlang plugin, which will take me to the GitHub page for the ASDF Erlang plugin. Okay, so I'm gonna scroll down to follow the instructions for installing this plugin, and here they say we just need to copy these commands to install our Erlang plugin. So let me go back to my terminal, paste the command I copied, press enter. Alright, we didn't get any errors, so we can verify that our plugin is installed by running ASDF plugin, is it plugin? Yeah, plugin lists, what's that, list. Okay, yeah, so there it is, our Erlang plugin is installed. Let me clear that. Let's go back to our plugin page. So there are some things we need to install first before we can install Erlang. There are some Linux dependencies we need to install. So let's go down. And here we see they said before ASDF install of Erlang, we need to install some dependencies. So I am using Linux Mint again, which is based on Ubuntu. So here they list dependencies for Linux distributions that are based on Ubuntu 16.04. However, mine is based on Ubuntu 20.04 and above. So I need to follow the instructions here to install the required dependencies. And then we need to copy this command so that we install those required dependencies. If you're using other Linux distros that are not based on Ubuntu, such as Arch Linux, you follow the appropriate instructions. For Mac OS and stuff, you follow these instructions as well. So in my case, this is the appropriate command, so I'm going to copy that, go back to my terminal, I'm going to paste this, and then I need to run this as a super user, sudo OK. Now before I go ahead and install these dependencies, I think it's important we just look at some dependencies and what they do. So the build essential package or dependencies, it includes a collection of essential tools and libraries required for compiling and building software on Linux systems. Among them is GCC, the GNU compiler collection, the Make utility, and others. Then autoconf is a tool used for generating configuration scripts which are essential for configuring software source code to suit the system we were installing it on. So this might be useful to configure the Erlang source code to suit the system on which we are installing it on. So this is very useful as well. And then there is the libwx-gtk 3.0. so this provides development files for the WX widgets toolkit with support for GTK3. The Erlang Observer graphical interface depends on WX widgets and GTK, which I'm going to show you once we install Erlang and Elixir. So this is a very necessary dependency. And then there's libwx-gtk WebView 3.0. This also is another development package specifically for the WebView component of the WX widget. So the Erlang Observer also depends on this package as well. Then the libgl mesa dev and libglue mesa, these have something to do with OpenGL stuff, open source graphics drivers, but won't dive much into them. And then there is a Unix ODBC dev. This package provides development files for the ODBC. So ODBC is a Open Database Connectivity Standard. It's a standard API for connecting to relational databases, for example Postgres, MySQL. So at some point we might need to work with Phoenix framework, and your application might need to connect to databases. So for your Elixir or Erlang applications to work well with that, these dependencies are needed to provide that connectivity standard to relational databases. And then the XSLT block, this one is used to process XML files and apply XSL style sheets. I think that's the gist of it. And then the FOP package, this is used for formatting XML documents into PDF and other output formats. Then the libxml2 provides utilities for working with XML files. And then the OpenJDK 11, this package installs the Java Development Kit version 11. Now Erlang is not written in Java obviously, but there is an implementation called the JInterface in the Erlang VM, and that allows interoperability between the Java VMs and the Erlang VMs. So the Erlang virtual machine, the processes running in the Erlang virtual machine can communicate with the processes that are running in the Java virtual machine. So it facilitates that interoperability. So should you at some point need to use the JInterface implementation to facilitate that interoperability, this dependency is needed. Alright, with that said, let's install our dependencies. So I'll press enter, type my passwords. Okay, so now this might take some time depending on how blazingly fast your internet is, but shouldn't take too long. But in my case, these dependencies are already installed on my system, so it didn't install anything. Okay, so let's get back to our instructions there. So once we have done that, now we are ready to install Erlang. So I'm gonna go back to my terminal. Let me clear that. So to install Erlang, you can just do ASDF install, and then you give it the plugin name, which is Erlang, and the version you want to install. However, before we do that, we can take a look at the list of possible versions or available versions we can install for Erlang. So to do that, we can do ASDF lists. Not that lists, come on. ASDF lists all, and then Erlang. So want to list all versions that are available. and there we have them. So there are quite a lot. You can pick whichever version you want. For me, I'm going to go with version 23.3.2.6. that's the version I'm going to install. So I'm gonna copy that. Let me clear that. And now to install that Erlang version, I just type ASDF install. Why am I making mistakes? Install Erlang, and then that version I copied. Okay. So ASDF will download the Erlang version 25 source code. Once it's done, it's going to compile it. If it was already downloaded before, it won't go through the download again. You should just use the already existing version. But since we don't have it on our system already, it's going to download it. Okay, so ASDF downloaded the Erlang source code, so now it's compiling it. If you faced any errors during the installation process, you can go to, let's go back here. So I'm still on the ASDF Erlang plugin. You can go to issues, and there you can see a list of issues. Most of them have something to do with the failure of installation of the Erlang version. For example, if I scroll down here, this used to be a common issue whereby the Erlang source code wouldn't compile or build because WX widgets were missing. And this person suggested that instead of using this command, you use this instead to install the latest version of WX widgets GTK and so forth. And you can see from the reaction and likes that this is a solution that worked well for some people. So you can look through the issues in case you faced an error while ASDF was compiling the Erlang source code. Chances are that you will find the solution on one of these issues, even the closed issues as well. You can take a look at that. Yeah, I just thought it's something that's worth mentioning. Okay. Alright, so Erlang was successfully compiled and installed. There are no errors so far. Okay, so let me clear that. Let's go back to the ASDF page. So among the steps we have completed is we installed the Erlang plugin, and then we installed the version of Erlang. Okay, so now we need to set that version of Erlang so that we could use it. So I'm gonna go back to my terminal. So you can see a list of versions of Erlang I have installed with ASDF list Erlang, and you see we have version 25. Okay, so now I can't use the Erlang shell because we need to set that version, and to do that we just type ASDF global. So I specify the global keyword because I want the version of this version of Erlang to be available globally, meaning wherever I open my terminal or editor in whichever directory or folder, this version will be available. But if you do local only sets this version to your current working directory and the subdirectory, so that version will only be available in that scope. But I'm going to use global and then Erlang version 25.3.2.6. Okay, now I can try to use the Erlang shell, and you see it's working. So I don't know much about Erlang, but I do know the Erlang expressions should end with a period or a full stop as you call it. Yeah, seems to be working so far. Let's try some. Okay, we missed something. Alright, so our Erlang version is working fine, no errors so far, and I'm gonna exit that by pressing Ctrl twice. Let me clear that as well. Cool. Now we need to install Elixir. So let's go back to our browser. I'm gonna close this. So under the plugin section on the ASDF page, I'm going to click on Elixir. Now we need to install the Elixir plugin. I'm gonna scroll down, similarly to what we did for Erlang. I'm gonna copy that, go back to my terminal. I'm gonna paste that, press enter. Okay, no errors, so our plugin was successfully installed. We can check by running ASDF list plugin, or it should be plugin list. List. Alright, so our Elixir plugin is installed. Let me clear that. So now again, similar to what we did for Erlang, we need to do for our Elixir runtime or 2 as well, and we can check all available versions we can install for Elixir by running ASDF list or Elixir. We have a bunch of versions, quite a lot actually. You can pick whichever one depending on the compatibility requirements for your project or whatever you want to do with Elixir. For me, I'm going to use Elixir version 1.14.5 for OTP25. So it's important that whichever version of Elixir you're using, it suits the version of Erlang you installed. So I installed Erlang version 25, so I need to use Elixir 1.14.5 for OTP25 or Erlang version 25. So I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna clear this, and then I type ASDF install install Elixir, and then the version I copied. The Elixir version is quite small, about 6 megabytes, so it shouldn't take much time. Alright, so Elixir was downloaded successfully. So now we can check the list of versions of Elixir I have. I can do ASDF list Elixir, and you see that we have that version there. And of course, like we did for Erlang, we can't use it. So if I try the IEX, which opens the Elixir shell, we can't use that because we need to set the version we just installed. So I'm going to clear that, and to do that, I just do ASDF. We are going to set this version globally as well, and then the version 1.14.5 -OTP should be -OTP OTP 26 or 25. Okay, so our Elixir version is set. So now if I try to open the Elixir shell, and there it is. So we can do some Elixir expressions, some number multiplications and whatever, and everything is working fine. You can try some print some sentences here. So I can say installed Elixir with some shouting, yay. Okay, that works. Yeah, seems everything is working fine. Our Elixir version is successfully installed. Now earlier I mentioned that while we were installing our dependencies for our Linux dependencies for Erlang, that libwx widgets is required in order to use the Erlang observer graphical interface. So that interface, let me show you. You open it by running observer.start. You call the start function to start the application, and there it is. So this is a Erlang Observer graphical interface. Like as the name implies, it allows you to observe what's running in your Erlang node or Erlang virtual machine. So there's a lot of metrics we can look at here. There's some information about the system, the memory usage, statistics, CPU threads, the atoms, processes and whatnot. This is under the system tab. Okay, then there is a load charts tab. So here we see some graphs or charts. For this one we see the scheduler utilization, and then there is IO usage, memory usage. So our system is not under load, that's why these graphs look chilled. Yeah, because this system is not under heavy load. And then memory allocators, things to do with memory and allocation and stuff, you can see it here. The applications, the supervision tree. This is a higher level overview of your Erlang OTP applications, and you can see it here under the applications tab. So it's for Elixir, IEX, kernel, logger and others. And then there is a processes tab. Here you can see a list of all processes running in your VM. Okay, you can sort them by the process ID, by the name. You can click on a process, double click on a process, you can see some information about that process as well. The messages, start quest, the state of that process and some other information. Yeah, and then there is a ports tab, the sockets tab, table view, trace overview and such. So it's a very useful tool to see or observe what's going on in your Erlang virtual machine. There is a similar implementation for this called the Phoenix Live dashboard. It's powered by Live View and it shows the same metrics you will find in this Erlang Observer, and that one is useful for seeing what's going on in your Phoenix Elixir applications. So the Erlang Observer, it's a very cool and nice tool you can use to see you can use to know about whatever is going on in your Erlang virtual machine. Yeah, I'll close that and I'm gonna exit my Elixir shell, and then I'm going to clear that. Alright, so that's how you can install Erlang and Elixir using the ASDF version manager. The similar steps can be applied to other tools or runtimes such as Ruby and Node.js. I hope you found this video useful. If there is something I left out, please let me know in the comment. Like I said at the beginning, this is my first video, so it will keep improving over time. I did this just to get familiar with this whole video recording and stuff. Yeah, if there are some topics you would want me to cover regarding programming related stuff, especially Elixir, Phoenix, Hector, that kind of thing, please let me know in the comments as well. And also feel free to leave feedback in the comments, perhaps how I can improve my videos and such. And if you like this video, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to support my channel. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.